Okay, so for this test review, we will go ahead and look at number 3. Now, for number 3, the reason why I want to go over this question in particular is because some students, they misinterpret this number right here, okay? Now, while we're at this, and later on we'll have to list out the transformations anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about the transformations. So there are 3 numbers right here. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3, these 3 numbers here. And we say, well, what are the 3 transformations? Well, the first one, we'll start from here. This is moving to the left. Okay, so we have shifting left for 3 units. Okay, and then for this number 2, we say this is what? Now it's within the absolute value sign, so it's a horizontal shrink by a factor of 1/2. Okay. Now, so this is why we need to be very careful, because the value right here, the B value, it's a 2, but the interpretation, it's a reciprocal, so we say it's a horizontal shrink by 1/2. Now, and right at this point, I want to make sure that you are also understanding the visual, okay, how a horizontal shrink it's going to be like. Now, if it's a horizontal shrink, that means it's getting pushed together horizontally, right? Just like how you put your 2 palms on your face and you horizontally shrink your palms, you're going to squish your face. So what is going to be the slope of this graph? Is it going to be steeper or flatter? Steeper, okay? So the slope is actually going to be 2 and -2, because it's getting steeper. And then ultimately we have a vertical shift up 1 unit. So we go to the left 3 units. All right, and then we move up 1 unit. So that would be our vertex right here. So left 3, up 1. And then the slope, it's going to be 2 and -2. So you look at the grid, the squares, you count them, and then you can make as many points as you want to, just to make sure that you have the graph absolutely drawn correctly. And also, when you are drawing a graph, make sure that you should extend all the way to the edge of the graph. I've seen students doing something like this. That's a very half-hearted effort, and it only hurts you at the end. So please respect the graph. So make sure you draw the graph properly. Okay. So let's go ahead and write down a few things about our graph here. X-intercept, that will be none, since it doesn't touch the x-intercept. Now, and I want to pause a moment right here as well. Now, the information right here, I hope you are not really trying to memorize what they are and then to fit it out, because it is really just simple meaning. But my concern is, do you know how simple the meaning is? Like x-intercept, how simple is it? Well, it's about the point where the graph cuts the x-axis. And since it doesn't cut the x-axis, we don't have any x-intercept. And what about the y-intercept? It is 0, 7. Okay, it is this point right here. This is 0, 7. This is the y-intercept. The vertex is -3, 1. Okay, that's the turning point right here. Vertex means the turning point. -3, 1. The domain and range, most of you get it. And I want to make sure that everybody gets it. Domain, it's all about the x values. So we're asking, what are the valid x values for this graph? And since it goes to the left and right infinitely, so we say it's going from -infinity to infinity. What about the range? It's about the y values. So From where to where for y value, for range? From where? -1? To infinity is correct, but it's not -1. From 1. Just 1. From 1 to infinity, because the y values, we're saying, hey, the lowest point is right here, that it's y equals to 1. It goes all the way to infinity right there. Okay. Now, some students, they are not very clear about what axis of symmetry means. And I think they're trying to recite something about what to write for axis of symmetry. Axis is a line, right? Can you see the symmetry of this graph? Can you see the symmetry? It's like this. And we say, well, if you can see the symmetry right here, well, that is the axis of symmetry, and that axis of symmetry is x equals to -3. All right, and then the A, B, C, D values. Okay, now this is another one that that students tends to miss, especially. I would say the A, B, C values are the highly missed ones that I want to go over here. The A value is 1, not 0. Now, it might be tempting to put 0 there, but that's actually an implicit 1 in the front. All right. So if you don't see a number and it's multiplying, it means it's a 1. Okay. What's the B value? 2. Some people put in 1/2 because they are thinking about interpreting the B value. So then somehow they put 1/2, but it's not 1/2. It's just 2. C is not 3, but -3. And D is 1. So that tends to be good for most people. And then let me go ahead and put the transformations right here. All right, so we have shifting left 3 units, horizontal shrink, and then we have shift up by 1 unit as the transformations. So that's how we do number 3. Okay, again, the reason number 3 could be a little bit challenging is because the 2 that sits right outside of parentheses, and make sure that you understand how to interpret the 2 and how the graph is going to change accordingly as a result. All right.